Very good evening to one and all. പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട അധ്യക്ഷൻ ശ്രീ അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് K.P. Jayachandran, Additional Advocate General, and പ്രിയ സുഹൃത്തും ബഹുമാന്യനുമായ കേരളത്തിലെ റവന്യൂ മന്ത്രി ശ്രീ രാജൻ, അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് ശ്രീ മനോജ് കുമാർ, അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് ശ്രീകാന്ത്, പ്രസിഡന്റ് ബാർ അസോസിയേഷൻ ശ്രീ തിലകാനന്ദ്, and other dignitaries on virtual platform, and dear friends. We are in the midst of our official works. Several laptops are here from different meetings and all this going on. But it's indeed a great privilege in a sense that it's after all I belong to Calicut. Second thing, the cause for which this Law and Justice Foundation stands for, it's really, really praiseworthy, because it's a vision statement, or its intention, it has been mentioned in the number 1, that is the promotion of constitutional values and philosophies among Indian public to preserve the status of Indian Constitution as a living document representing the will of Indian citizens. It's something it's really good, because I often wonder that it's in a democratic country, which document should be the most important and the lifeline of any citizen of that country. I think it's we admire our religious scripts. We admire that is Bible, Gita, or Quran, and also very, very important. I think that's a personal life or the spiritual life. These scriptures are very, very important. But in a democratic country, for a citizen is the most important. As a democratic citizen is concerned, the most important document is nothing but its constitution. Because we all enjoy the freedom and the rights, it's because we have a constitution. Otherwise, we would have been the position the position which I occupy right now, or the many youngsters standing in front of me, that they aspire to occupy a certain position in society, or that is the freedom which we enjoy to select, to choose our leaders, or the leaders whom we aspire to govern us. It's all because that freedom we have got because of we have a constitution, and that very wonderful, beautiful constitution we have. But I still have a very serious doubt about how many of Indians are know the very fundamentals of Indian constitution, especially at least about the preamble of Indian constitution, or its objectives, or about its fundamental rights and the fundamental duties of every person. Because you know that if you are to operate truly a citizen in democracy, we have to give equal weightage, or sometimes more weightage, to our duties than to our rights. I consider, I used to try to compare, that is, what is the difference between a citizen in this democracy and an autocracy, or on a dictatorship like China, or monocratic system in Saudi Arabia or Middle East it is existing. The fundamental difference I felt that is in this autocratic one-man rule or one dynasty rule system is that it's one individual or one dynasty governs, or that decides, that dictates or thinks law, or the decisions of the society. But in a democracy, it is the committee of kings. Instead of one king, a committee of kings, makes the decisions. That the difference is that every citizen is a king in a democracy. Every citizen is a king, and king is being defined like that. King gives more importance to his duties than to his responsibility. So I still wonder that whether we are reached to that level. Now the next year, on 22nd August, 2022 August, we will be celebrating the 75th Independence Day of this nation. After around 73 years of our experiment with the democracy, whether we have truly become a king in that sense, that truly become a citizen in that sense, I think I think that it's a time that it is there today, so August 5th, another couple of days, we'll be celebrating our 74th anniversary, or Independence Day. So whether we are actually about acquired that status or reached to that status, I think that in many ways we may be having the freedom of exercising our votes or selecting our people's representative and all. Beyond that, whether it has developed as a culture in our practice, it's quite doubtful in that way. So the thing is that if you have to be a truly a democratic citizen, we must learn how to personally practice the constitutional values and constitutional philosophies enshrined in the great Indian Constitution. So here the promotion of the constitutional values and philosophies is highly required, and that's why I think that it's every citizen of it that is to be, that very early childhood itself, that is, instead of teaching anything else, we may be learning Tara and Para, but that Tara is not that much important, but this Para is very important. That is the fundamental values of Indian constitutions. So why still that is, many types of inequalities or some sort of discriminations and all still existing in the societies. The reason is that we are not imbibed the very sense of Indian Constitution. So, or any effort to promote its fundamental principles, it's nothing but it's a really great work. And moreover, I think that I often wonder that whether the Indian society has been really be aware of the utility and importance of law. I still doubt that very many of us has not really been actually, even the legal practitioners may be more concerned about nitty-gritties or technicalities, whether the Indian society is really aware of, are really into the utility and importance of law. I think that part is here to be, because we the police officers generally, that enforce law, they will go look at the sections and it's a punishment part of it. I still doubt that they also may not have really appreciated that the utility of law. The law is something, it is a mutual agreement in a mutual agreement in a civilized society. It is as you people are legal luminaries, I may not explain its utilities and importance, but to my understanding, it is a mutual understanding in a very civilized society. And the understanding is that and especially when it comes to democracy, the law is enacted by the people, of the people, for the people. So my first question which comes to my mind is that in a democracy, is it something to be imposed upon someone? In a democracy, if you are a truly aware and truly spirited citizen, whether it is something to be imposed upon you or me. It is, I think that if we believe that this law is enacted by me, enacted for me, and it is to be abided by me also. So here the thing is that, and here often the reason I found that is very often we are not actually not really aware of its importance and utility. That we enjoy all the freedom and all the security because we have a law. Because we have a law. Law is derived from the Constitution. It's the provisions of the Constitution also. Any law which is violate the basic principles of this Constitution always been set aside by the Supreme Court of India. So the question is that, so we hear that is any serious effort is required to make understand people the law stands for the safety and security of each and every individual. Safety, security, and freedom of each and every individual of this nation. So, and here I think that the youth, especially the legal fraternity youth, must initiate a step that is, instead of, we generally say that we must spread the legal literacy. Instead of spreading the legal literacy, let us forget about its legal penal provisions and all. Let us talk about its philosophy, its utility, its importance into this, and tell the children, for youngsters, that at least this stand for your own personal and your society, your family, security, safety, and freedom. So we have an initiative called Student Police Cadet Project, which is basically meant for this particular purpose. That is that is actually creating a generation which abide by law willingly rather than enforced by someone else, and that is create an inherent respect for law instead of generating a society, developing a society which is in contempt or fear of in contempt or fear of law. So here youth, definitely educated youth or those who are studying for legal courses or something like, they can definitely go to the schools, because I consider more schools in the sense that, basically the elders, their mind is preset, and the most often their attitude is also set. Very difficult to change their mindset. But if we have to we have to create a legally really aware society, we must invest in the children. I request the youngsters, it has a responsibility to each one of them, especially the youngsters from legal fraternity, go to the students and make them understand the need and the utility and the importance of law in society. Here, another very that is often, most of the seniors sitting in front of the means they are all 20th century people. They may have, some people I used to get the information that the present day youth is not so. I should have told this one in the beginning, that is, the present day youth is not so committed. They are very lazy. They are not very enthusiastic at our generation. And I have a totally different opinion about that in this regard. It's all because of not by this, any reading by books or any articles or anything like that. It's my first-hand experience with the youth. Especially when during the COVID great flood, I went to one of these, one late night, I went to one of these camps in Ernakulam. I exactly speaking that is Kusat campus. It was around 11:30. I was in a Murphy not in uniform also, just to know that what exactly happening there. So there was a few people. One girl called Amruta. She is from Kaligat. She studied Kusat, but then later, she is an actually alumni of that particular distinguished institution. She came to know that there is a camp is being run in my campus. So and their colleagues, their classmates, and all, they invited whoever is willing, they can join here. She took a bus and came all the way, and she's spending day and night to serve the people, around 3,000 people working over there. Like that, in various flood camps and mobilization of funds, mobilization of resources, mobilization of and helping the people, cleaning the camps, cleaning the houses, and all. Their work was amazingly good. And when the COVID-19 pandemic came, so we had an idea that is when we police personnel senior officers were discussing in COVID-19 in our police boardroom. How we'll enforce lockdown. It was the main discussion on 23rd and 24th of March in 2020. So the next day, some of us was just thinking that once we lock in and strictly enforce the lockdown, what will be the fate of the homeless people who are at the street street children, the hospital bystanders stranded in hospitals, and the hospitalized patients, health workers, and other people. So the one idea came up, that is, we will cook and distribute food among them. And it became later a big movement called Feed a Stomach or Varuvairutam program. It started with 30 packets of Pumavi Trivandrum. Then later it spread to 20. It led to creating 24 kitchens across the state and started distributing around 40,000 cooked food and cooked by these youngsters. And later it ended up to around 10 lakhs this food packet cooked, just more resources mobilized, cooked and distributed, handed over with a lot of love by these youngsters. Another issue which I came to that is the power of youngsters, the willingness of the youngsters, is that when we were all talking about the COVID various is considered, that generally celebrated COVID various are health workers, mainly the doctors and nurses, and then to some extent the police officers also. There are some set of people which is unsung heroes of the COVID management. That is, the hospital, the cleaners, sanitation workers of COVID hospitals. You just imagine a situation, if these people are not coming for a day for work, what would have been the fate? So such a dangerous material they were handling, and they very lovingly, after taking all the risks, they were removing all the waste and cleaning it up. Around 8,000 people, 8,000 hospital workers, hospital cleaners was working across the state in COVID hospital to clean this one. These youngsters of the student police cadet, Nanma Foundation, then our responsibility to children, and many other youngsters got together and they decided to felicitate this. It is the unsung COVID warriors called this sanitation workers. Then when the COVID second wave came, there was another set of people. They were really sacrificed their life. Was that is the ambulance drivers and the workers in the crematoriums. And they were the unsung heroes, because if that ambulance workers was not taken that risk and taken the patients to the hospital, many of us may not have been on this earth now. So, and then the crematorium workers too, their contribution is highly priceworthy. So here, what I would like to say, they decided to celebrate their achievements also. So all this has been done by the youngsters. So I have a great faith in that the youngsters. That they can do wonders. But I think that now is the time for them. There is one important issue which the youngsters can do, is that the youngsters of today are the natives of 21st century. They are born in the world of technology. They have the capability and responsibility to enable to bridge the digital gap and make a digital empowerment among the entire Indian society. They only can do it, because they are very familiar. They are the natives of digital world, and if they decide, at least one day, one person is, if they try to help them to be digitally empowered, that will be a great help and a great thing they will be doing, because that may lead to that bridging that digital divide, may help many people to actually economically bridging their gaps also. Another thing is that the violence against that they were talking about, that the gender violences, it is shame for, especially in Kerala, like an advanced society, that is still exists the dowry and all. So the youngsters has to take in a pledge and get it done also. That is, they will not receive or they will not give dowry in their life, and they should encourage others also to follow this one. In this one, and a campaign, if we can take a meaningful campaign by the youth, it will be a great movement as far as the progressive Kerala is concerned. Here, other thing is that there are many areas that the youngsters must get involved and lead, like Malala's Yousafzai or the Gareta, who did both was relentlessly working for the protection of this planet. That one area is the environment, that is our precious assets, like the public assets and water, earth, and this air. It is at great danger, and the global warming it's at peak. It's going, and its situation is worsening. So that is a movement for the protecting the water, earth, and the air. That is something it's very, very important. It will be a contribution for the next generation too. In this area also, the society, the youngsters can show as some sort of serious responsibility toward the society. It will be something very good. And these are some of the areas which I would like to mention here, because there are any problem. Every problem is an opportunity. Unfortunately, we have India have hundreds of problems. Poverty is there, economic inequality is there, social inequality, injustice is there. So problem is a great opportunity too. So there is, if you have a problem, there will be more than one solutions also. It's a great opportunity to youngsters to come up and work for the nation, and thereby set and give a better meaning to their lives too. And we too have some youth development programs called Student Police Cadet, ORC, Nanma Foundation, and Hope and all, to help the youngsters. If anyone of you are willing to be part of our team also, we would like to, we will be more than happy to receive you. And we would like to get the help of that research foundation to teach our youngsters. We are around 2 lakh children in Kerala alone, youngsters in Kerala alone, to make them aware about the importance and utility of Indian Constitution and its values. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for inviting me.